Right, so if you're at home watching this, press pause, give those a try, and then when you unpause, we'll work them together. Note on number 1, there is a algebra trick to do first that will make your calculus life a lot easier. Number 2 and number 3 are pretty straightforward. Just don't forget the chain rule here on number 3. All right, number 1. Again, algebra first. Algebra first usually makes your calculus life easier if you see it, if there's something to do. E to the natural log, those cancel each other out. So this is the same thing as y equals tangent of x. That's not calculus, but now it's going to make our calculus a lot easier because the derivative of tangent is secant squared. Now, if you try to go the other way where you start taking the derivative of this thing, you should eventually get down to this, but it might take a while before you get there. Number 2, find f prime if f is natural log of all of that. Well, the derivative of natural log is 1 over the thing, the argument, if you want to sound fancy, times the derivative of the argument. So 4x plus cosine x. And then maybe that's fine to leave it like that. Most books would probably write it as 4x plus cosine x over 2x squared plus sine of x. And you know this, you can't do any reducing here or change that to cotangent because all of that's in the denominator, so leave it. Of course, you shouldn't be any reducing anyway on a free response question for fear that you might mess something up. So even if you could, you probably shouldn't, just leave it alone. All right, so derivative of natural log is 1 over the argument times the derivative of the argument. Derivative of e to something is e to the something times the derivative of the something. So derivative of cosine is negative sine. Leave the argument alone, right? 1 layer at a time for your Tootsie Roll Pops. 1 layer at a time. And then the derivative of 3x squared would be 6x. And maybe you could write that in a different order if you liked, but all the pieces are there, so you're fine. So that's your 2 and 3 are the reminders of what we did last week. The derivative of natural log, the derivative of exponents. Any questions on those? Again, those aren't real difficult, so I didn't mind doing those before the break, knowing that we could hit warm-ups today and tomorrow and have them refreshed and ready to go, hopefully.